The Ebola crisis. A U.S. health official criticizes quarantine protocols in New York and New Jersey. High-tech hub. Africa 54's Paul Ndiho takes us inside Zambia's tech industry. And lifelike robots steal the show in Tokyo. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. We'll have those stories in a moment, but we begin today with the tragic and senseless death of Senzo Meyiwa, the captain of South Africa's national football team. Meyiwa was shot and killed Sunday by intruders while trying to protect his girlfriend, Kelly Khumalo, a local entertainer, during a robbery at her home in the township of Vosloorus near Johannesburg. Now, police say two men entered Khumalo's house around 8 p.m. local time, where Meyiwa was in a party of 7 in the house. A third assailant waited outside the house, and all three fled immediately after the shooter fired one shot into the chest of Meyiwa. At an emotional news conference on Monday, Meyiwa's colleagues paid tribute to the 27-year-old goalkeeper, with both the team's coach and chairman devastated over his death.
Safe to say, without any doubt, since we started with Senzo, this national team never had problems. Because he would always be a leader. He's a guide to the players, and the players would listen to him. I don't remember any player bringing forth problems. They will always go to Senzo, and they spoke to Senzo and presented their problems.
As Orlando Pirates Football Club, we are devastated. We had a session in the morning with the players where we were doing a soul searching. It was difficult for me as the chairman, to manage the situation because, he was too close to all of us, Senzo Meyiwa. And it was a lot of sobbing and crying. It was uncontrollable. I said to the players, it's only fair that he must cry, because it's not easy to hold back emotions, especially on an event like this one.
Well, authorities have launched an investigation into Meyiwa's killing. South Africa's murder rate has been gradually dropping, but it remains one of the world's most violent countries, with police recording more than 17,000 murders last year, or 31 per 100,000 people, 7 times the rate in the United States. Well, turning now to the Ebola crisis, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations is calling attention to the need for greater response to the Ebola outbreak that has killed nearly 5,000 people in West Africa. Samantha Power posted on Twitter early Monday, after spending a day in Guinea, that the scale of need is staggering and that the most basic resources will help save lives. Power is on a multi-stop tour this week of the worst-hit countries, including Sierra Leone and Liberia. Power's visit to the West Africa comes amid a decision by the Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York State to revise the state's controversial new quarantine policy on healthcare workers who return to the United States after treating Ebola patients in West Africa.
A healthcare professional who returns to this region who had exposure to infected people, or citizens who are returning or coming to the U.S. who had exposure to infected people, will be asked to remain in their homes for a 21-day quarantine period. During those 21 days, healthcare workers would check on them twice a day.
Well, the updated quarantine guidelines come just 2 days after Mr. Cuomo and Governor Chris Christie of the neighboring state of New Jersey first jointly announced the initial quarantine measures. Their decision immediately put them at odds with the top U.S. health officials. Now, viewers, Michael Bowman has more.
Fears of possible Ebola contagion in one of America's largest and most densely populated cities, New York, led Governor Andrew Cuomo and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to strengthen quarantine measures in their states.
This is too serious to be dealing with voluntary quarantine. I mean, it makes no sense to me. We are significantly increasing the screening process for people who want to come into the New York, New Jersey area.
We have the legal authority to do it. We're doing it.
Triggering concerns, Doctors Without Borders physician Craig Spencer, who is being treated for Ebola in the New York hospital while his fiancée remains under house quarantine. Meanwhile, complaints from a nurse who returned from Sierra Leone and is now under mandatory isolation in New Jersey. Casey Hickox ran a fever but has tested negative for Ebola. She wrote a U.S. newspaper that, quote, "The U.S. must treat returning healthcare workers with dignity and humanity."
One, we need to protect the American public, but two, we need to make the decisions based on scientific data.
U.S. infectious disease specialist Anthony Fauci is critical of quarantine protocols in New York and New Jersey.
The scientific data tells us that people who are without symptoms, with whom you don't come into contact with body fluids, are not a threat. As a scientist and as a health person, if I were asked, I would not have recommended that.
Last week, President Barack Obama hugged cured Ebola patient Nina Pham.
We have to work together at every level, federal, state, and local. And we have to keep leading the global response, because the best way to stop this disease, the best way to keep Americans safe, is to stop it at its source in West Africa.
But New Jersey Governor Christie is defending his decision to boost quarantine protocols.
My first and foremost obligation is to protect the public health and safety of the people of New Jersey.
Stop Ebola! No!
As U.S. fears over Ebola continue, African immigrants march to the United Nations, decrying stigmatization they perceive from society at large. Michael Bowman, VOA News, Washington.
Well, the U.S. is forming medical teams that will scramble to any part of the country where a new Ebola case is suspected. The Centers for Disease Control Ebola Response Teams, or CERTs for short, are made up of experts who are especially trained to diagnose and treat Ebola. VOA's Zlatska Hoke has our report.
Each rapid response team consists of about 20 members who will be ready to depart within hours to any part of the United States where a patient has been diagnosed with Ebola or is highly suspected of infection.
Well, the rapid response teams are meant to assist hospitals that see suspect Ebola patients. The response teams consist of specialists in infection control, clinical medicine, Ebola outbreak investigation, communications, and a variety of other disciplines, including laboratory.
President Barack Obama ordered the formation of specialized teams after the first Ebola case diagnosed in the United States showed that most hospitals are not prepared to handle the virus. The patient who arrived from Liberia was treated at a hospital in Dallas, Texas, but died on October 8th after infecting 2 nurses who took care of him. The case caused fear that Ebola may spread in the United States, and many Americans have accused health officials of not being prepared to deal with the virus. Mr. Obama said rapid response teams will ensure that proper procedures are applied in all suspected Ebola cases.
If we do these protocols properly, if we follow the steps, if we get the information out, then the likelihood of widespread Ebola outbreaks in this country are very, very low.
The president sought to allay the fears that the deadly virus would spread in the United States. The decision to deploy an Ebola response team will ultimately be made by the CDC director at the request of a hospital or clinic that may need it.
Our Emergency Operations Center has been activated. I think we're in our 106th day of our activation. So the decision to deploy a CDC Ebola response team would lie with the incident management structure. Now, our Emergency Operations Center is our Director's Operations Center. So, of course, all decisions ultimately sit with Dr. Frieden.
Team members are drawn from a list of about 100 health workers scattered across the country. 3 fast teams already have been sent out to New York, Chicago, and Washington. No CERT teams have been deployed yet, but the first group of 20 is on standby with their bags packed. Zlatitsa Hoke, VOA News, Washington.
A new report released by Human Rights Watch says that Nigerian women and girls that have been abducted by the Islamist militant group Boko Haram have been forced into marriage, forced to convert to Islam, and endured a tremendous amount of abuse. Human Rights Watch reports that more than 500 women and girls have been kidnapped by Boko Haram since 2009. In April, gunmen from the group carried away some 270 girls and women when they raided a school in the northeastern town of Chibok. More than 50 girls eventually escaped, but at least 200 remain in captivity, along with scores of other girls kidnapped previously. One woman who was abducted in November 2013 described how she was taken away.
I was at home packing food when we heard gunshots. We ran into Boko Haram as we tried to escape. They surrounded us and asked us where we were going. They said, since we've caught you, you're going to convert you to Islam.
Another victim of abduction spoke of how Christians and Muslims in captivity were treated differently.
They told the Muslims to stand on one side and the four of us Christians to the other. They released the Muslims but kept us. I kept pleading for him to leave me alone because I had my baby, but he refused to listen and told me to put my baby down, so I put her down.
She says one of the militants then raped her. A woman kidnapped in September 2013 said she was forced to accompany the militants on operations carrying bullets for them.
When they wanted me to kill the first man, my body was shaking and I fell to the ground. They forced me to get up and watch as they killed the second person.
Some of the victims say they were threatened if they refused to convert to Islam.
We did not agree, and we were uncomfortable. But the insurgents said, if you don't stop misbehaving, we'll shoot you and throw your corpses into the river.
The Human Rights Watch report says Boko Haram threatens victims with whipping, beating, or death unless they convert to Islam, stop attending school, and wear the veil or hijab. The report says that witnesses say security forces could have averted some of the attacks by Boko Haram if they had acted on information provided by residents.
There was a culture of silence and a certain taboo that had been around the issue, with especially evidenced by the reluctance of people to admit that it was happening, the denial by state authorities that these kidnappings were taking place. And we decided that it was important to document the impact of the insurgency, of the entire conflict and violence on women and girls in northeast Nigeria.
October 14 marked 6 months since the girls' abduction, and the Bring Back Our Girls campaign group has pledged to continue its month-long sit-in protests and unrelenting call for their rescue. We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, the latest high-tech development from Zambia. We have an inside look, so stay with us. Welcome back to Africa 54. Zambia is turning high-tech into a major export. Now, Paul Ndiho recently returned from Zambia, and he joins us now with the details. Paul?
It's good to be back, Vincent. Bongo Hive is Zambia's technology and innovation hub, a creative and innovative space that gives young developers a platform to work and incubate new ideas and learn from each other. I recently visited the hub, and here is more. An innovations revolution is unfolding in Africa, and this year there are many stories about young people creating new technologies and applications that are driving the continent's growth and turning around its global image. The Lusaka-based tech hub started 3 years ago, and it provides a space where young creative minds hone their skills. Bongo Hive founder and executive director Lukonga Lindunda says brilliant minds have never been in short supply in Zambia.
We allow young people to innovate, so they come in, provide them with access to internet, to skills development as well, and also an opportunity as they're building the idea that they have access to mentors, funders, and really a network that allows them to bring their idea to life.
Bongo Hive is behind the app that is generating a lot of buzz in Lusaka. The draft constitutional mobile application launched recently has been downloaded more than 6,000 times.
The draft constitution was only available on the website as a PDF document. And so he managed to convert that PDF document into a searchable application, which you could actually search for specific keywords, but not only that, but be able to also submit your comments straight to the technical committee that was drafting the constitution.
Charles Mwanza is part of a development team working on the app.
So this is a Zambian constitution application. So as you can see, there is a preamble there. So it basically explains exactly what's in the Constitution.
With a good idea, an entrepreneurial spirit, and an interest in all things tech, young people from across Africa are learning that their skills are extremely valuable. Jacqueline Hannah Kwenda is a video editor at Bongo Hive.
Where they were training girls how to use video editing software and cameras. So we came here, I came for that workshop. And then later on, I got interested in furthering my skills on how to film and edit video.
There are similar tech hubs in Africa like Bongo Hive, in Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, and Ghana. And all are trying to harness the potential of the world's fastest growing mobile phone market. George Lupupa Mutale is in charge of outreach at Bongo Hive. He says their goal is to empower local communities by giving them an opportunity to tell their stories.
Take those stories out and let the whole world see that Africa is doing something innovative, and specifically like Bongo Hive, or maybe in different parts of countries where they're creating hubs, that's where the gold mine is, and see how the stories can be created out of it.
Joshua Chipili is a self-taught robotics engineer.
We're all self-taught. Would I say maybe engineers, tech engineers and all that, that teach ourselves, then come together, then come up with certain ideas that would maybe help in the future.
Bongo Hive also offers a free office space to Cassandra Martin, CEO and co-founder of Zambia's trending website where clients shop for groceries and other household products.
We're currently delivering in 2 provinces in Zambia. And the way it works is through our site, clients can buy groceries and household goods, and then we deliver directly to their families or favorite charities.
2014 has been a year brimming with insightful innovations. It will be exciting to see what Bongo Hive has to offer next year. Earlier this month, Bongo Hive partnered with UNICEF along with universities in 5 other countries in a global design challenge aimed at engaging students in Zambia into local problem solving and global collaboration around pressing international problems. Back to you, Vincent.
Well, Paul, very exciting, great reporting there. But it looks like despite of a country like Zambia being economically not very strong, the young people are taking the lead in high tech, and they're not allowing themselves to be stopped by anything.
Well, it's twofold. I'll look at it in twofold. One, they have told themselves we can't sit back and wait for the government to create employment for us. So we have to go out there and create employment. Secondly, there is this technology revolution that is sweeping across the entire continent. Everybody wants to create something, to be part of something.
Well, thank you very much, and definitely we have a lot more to expect from you, Paul.
Thanks for having me, Vincent. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Great. Well, we look forward to more of Paul's reports, but right now, still to come on Africa 54, we are the robots. A lifelike android steals the show in Tokyo. Plus, Sunny is back. But first, a recap of Monday's headlines.
L'opération Barkhane, c'est une opération de contre-terrorisme sur l'ensemble de la région.
Objectif d'unité et de paix.
To lokacin da suka buga bindiga ɗin ina gida.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. Now, the stars shine at the U.S. premiere of Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey, Jessica Chastain, and Anne Hathaway light up the screen in the new film by Christopher Nolan, who directed the Dark Knight series and Inception. Well, it's about an astronaut turned farmer who leaves his family back on a dying Earth to head up an expedition in search of a new habitable planet. Now, the filming covered a lot of ground, including the U.S., Canada, and Iceland. Interstellar opens in November. Well, next up, robots take center stage at Tokyo's annual Design Expo. Now, the amazing machines played guitar, kicked a soccer ball, and even wooed visitors. The highlight was Asuna, the eerily lifelike android capable of delicate facial expressions. Creator A-Lab, a robot developer, called her an everlasting girl. A choir of robot singers performed their very mechanical harmony using artificial lungs and vocal cords. The 10-day event was also held in Milan and London. Organizers are hoping to expand to New York City next year. While staying in the trend-setting city of Tokyo, the creator of Mario, Donkey Kong, and a slew of other famous video game characters has jumped into film. Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo released the 3-part Pikmin short movies as part of the Tokyo International Film Festival. The Pikmin series follows an astronaut and a race of beings who are a mix of plant and animal. A worldwide release date for the short films has not yet been announced, so stay tuned. And that is what is trending today. Well, viewers, ever popular sports guru Sonny Young has just returned from a trip to Nigeria, and he joins us now to tell us all about his exciting visit. Hey, Sonny.
Sporty greetings, Vincent.
Good to see you, and I feel like I'm sitting in in front of a king. Now, tell us first, what is the story behind this royal Nigerian attire?
Well, the traditional Nigerian attire was a gift bestowed on me in Lagos by Dr. Larry Zamaje. He's the chief executive officer of one of our broadcasting partners in the Nigerian commercial capital, Sports Radio, Brilla FM 88.9. And this was one of the gifts he gave me. So shout out for Dr. Larry.
And now you are officially the king of sports. Well, what type of reception did you receive in Nigeria?
Just a wonderful reception, Vincent. The Nigerian people were so friendly and gracious, and yeah, they were very excited to see me and find out more about Africa 54, as well as other elements of our Voice of America programming. And overall, it was a wonderful trip, great trip.
Now, was there anything else that took place outside of meeting with our broadcast partners?
Well, one event that I attended was the Africast Broadcasting Trade Show in Abuja. That's an annual trade show in which various African broadcasting outlets, they basically attend to promote their company or media house. This year, the focus was on digital technology.
Mm-hmm. What kind of attendance was there? Was it such a big thing? Or?
Well, I spoke with some of the organizers while I was there, and they said this year's attendance was down a bit. And they think it's because of the Ebola fear in West Africa, that a lot of people that perhaps wanted to go decided not to because of the Ebola crisis in West Africa. I would say it was probably in the neighborhood of 500 to 1,000 people that attended the trade show.
We saw even other photos of you. Actually, we used them on Friday. Man, you were like the most important person in the city on that day. How did you feel personally?
It was humbling in a lot of ways, Vincent. Overwhelming, the welcome I was accorded. I guess, yeah, it felt great. I mean, it really did.
Well, thanks a lot, Sonny. And what else do you think we need to know about, especially Nigeria sports, when you're watching it from
one of the questions I asked one of the Brilla broadcasters when I was there, they love the English Premier League in Nigeria, and he told me the 3 favorite clubs in that country are Chelsea, the Blues of Chelsea, the Gunners of Arsenal, and Manchester United. He said those are the 3 favorite clubs. Premier League is huge in Africa, and as well as some of the other top European leagues.
How much interest is there in American sports other than basketball, which I know is usually popular?
Good question. I was asked about Major League Soccer, which is the top professional league here in the USA. They were curious about its growth and whether it's had an impact on the popularity of football or soccer here in the United States, and I think it has had a positive effect.
Now, very briefly, at the top, we started with the killing of this very popular footballer in South Africa, Senzo Meyiwa. What are your thoughts on this?
Tragic incident, Vincent. I know the president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, has expressed his condolences. As I speak to you now, tributes are pouring in across South Africa for the 27-year-old Meyiwa. I did a little background search for him. Yeah. He just made his national team debut last year, and so he clearly has had a big impact. That he was already named captain of the team, right. So it shows his leadership qualities. Such a
big loss. Sonny, thank you very much for gracing us with your presence, your majestic presence.
You're welcome, Vincent.
Yes. Well, be sure to watch the Sunny Side of Sports every Monday and Friday right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight, at 1800 UTC and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching from all of us here in Washington. Good night.
How do you see the world?
I see countries in turmoil.
I see our planet changing.
I see people at peace.
No matter how you see the world, you'll get an unbiased and uncensored view of it on Voice of America. On television, radio, online, and mobile. In more than 40 languages all day, every day. Millions of people tune us in.
How do I see the world? On Voice of America.
We are able to touch on things that are important to people on an everyday basis. Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. In a lively half hour, news, sports, health, lifestyle information, comments from our viewers. Africa 54, the best for Africa, about Africa. Join us only on VOA.